What is up, everybody? JuanBond back again here. Draft Manager Studios, Maplewood, Minnesota. Got the Players Championship this week. Down at TPC Sawgrass, sticking on that Florida swing. Let the carnage continue. Should be another sloppy, fun, bogey-filled week. So, no surprise. I like a lot of the guys I did last week and the week before that. Guys who have been playing good on this Florida swing are going to be popular, as they should be, as we will see more of the conditions like we saw over the last couple weeks. So all in all, it should be a fun week. The DraftKings pricing came out kind of early because they got this new first million maker of the year for PGA. $20 entry, million to first, and then probably, I didn't even look at the full payout structure, but probably pretty terrible after that. But yeah, that's big million maker this week. And because of that, the pricing came out a little early. And there's a couple, well, there's more than a couple, but a few golfers here that are way underpriced that are going to make them pretty chalky. But we'll get to all that. Let's talk a little bit here before we start about Draft Manager, who we are. Again, I'll keep the plug short. This whole stream is going to be short, 20 to 25 minutes tops. We currently have, we'll say our MLB early bird package, since it's the best deal in the industry, is ready to go. It's $149 for the year, $50 for the optimizer. But again, you can join us for as little as $10 for a weekly pass. You'll get all sports access for a weekly pass. We got Vince doing the UCL and the EPL soccer. The Mats are still, churning out hockey content, and we're getting some W's there. Brian Tullock Sports was just on fire over the weekend in NBA. Picks and Pivots was crushing. So, good things here, and we expect it to fully continue into the MLB season. There's 5 of us just chomping at the bit, waiting for baseball to start too. So, but yeah, Draft Manager, that's us. Give us a look, and join us up and get in Slack, where you'll get the most bang for your buck, in my opinion. Slack is basically lit, as the kids say, all day long. So, yeah, that's it. Let's get into it. Again, we've got the players this week. We might as well talk a little bit about the course, as we normally do. We've got TPC Sawgrass. It's just outside of Jacksonville. It's Ponte Vedra, Florida. It's just outside of Jacksonville. It's Pete Dye. What do they call him? He's Diabolical Pete Dye, because the design is so difficult. But that was what the PGA wanted when they asked him to design this course, per Matthew Wiley. I've heard that on the Golflandia podcast today. But anyway, yeah, we got par 72, almost 7,200 yards. Again, we got over 80 bunkers and waters in play everywhere. Lots of dog legs. So, long hitters have a slight advantage, but we've seen short hitters like Kuchar win here. Kuchar won here years ago. Then you've got, the rough isn't as bad as it was last week, but still pretty bad. The greens are going to be fast. And again, if it's windy, it's going to be trouble again. And that's pretty much it for the course. That's, again, per Smart Golf Bets. He lays it out really well in his course notes. So it's going to be more of the grinders who can get it done in the conditions. So I think we should start. Let's bring in the screen here. We're only 4 minutes in, but we're doing pretty damn good. This one's going to be short, hopefully, this week. So bring in the screen. Start at the top, as we always do. Me out. Get me out of there. So we got Rory. That's over 10K. We got 6 guys this week. Well, nope, 5. Tiger Woods is out. And that sucks. It doesn't sound like Tiger probably won't play until the Masters, from the sounds of it. But let's buzz through this top real quick. I don't think I'm going to play a little bit of Rory, but I don't think I'm touching anybody else at 10K or over. Sorry, burping, but Rory's got 4 top 5s in a row now. Of course, he's the returning champion. He won here last year. And he's been right there every week, like we said. But it's just 11-7, clear-cut favorite in the field. And he's, only 75 DK points last week, despite the 5th place finish. But there wasn't really much scoring going on out of anybody. So you see it here, 3rd place, 5th. I expect somewhere in the same again. I mean, yeah, he could win. He won here last year, but the price tag on him, it's doable with the value we got, of course. But like I said, I'm not going to go crazy on Rory. I'm going to play him in one lineup. That's about it. Rahm's also in play, I think. GPP-wise, obviously. All these guys are in play. I mean, I wouldn't play Brooks, but the only thing that worries me about Rahm is he hasn't played it on the Florida swing. So we don't know how he's going to come in here. He's played here 3 times. He's played this event 3 times in his career. 12th last year was his best finish. And he does have 4 top 10s in his last 5 events, although they're kind of spread out. And he was 2nd at the Farmers not too long ago. So definite great form. I just wish he would have played 1 event on the Florida swing, but it's Jon Rahm. I think he's fine if you want to load him up in GPP. JT, same thing. He hasn't been great here. 3rd is his best finish. He has missed a cut over the last 5 years. He was 35th last year. And, I mean, we got to go back to 10 weeks ago when he got that win. And even then, since then, he's missed 2 cuts. And, there's a couple other top 10s in there. But this just isn't the Justin Thomas that I felt comfortable with, like January, February, basically, early February. And I'm kind of scared. Even at 10-8, I feel like we're getting a discount, but I just don't not going to do it for me this week. Just based on, recent form, pretty much. It's not elite as it should be. And then we know Brooks and DJ are just not the same golfers that they normally are. So we can move on. Move right down now into a loaded 9K range here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in this range. The only one I wouldn't play, they're all in play. I'm not going to, I don't want to stray anyone off and say someone's a bad play in this range because there isn't one. But, I mean, Xander is the only one I'm a little leery of. He, 24th last week, which isn't bad, but for a player his caliber, it just kind of shows that even he struggled with the conditions. And in 2 chances here at Sawgrass, he missed the cut last year and was 2nd in his debut in 2018. So can't really base anything off that either. I just think of all these guys in this range that Schauffele is kind of the odd man out. For me, I know Scott did us dirty last week, and I'm one who will definitely be like, no, don't play him after that. But I think you can go right back to Scott here. He won, a month ago, and that miscut was pretty rare last week. And, I think he was 5 over through the first 5 holes. It was like there was no going back. So I think Scott just had a bad week. I fully expect him to bounce back. Here at Sawgrass, he hasn't missed a cut in 8 years, since 2011, playing it every year, plays this event every year. Finished inside the top 26 times, peaking with the 6th back in 2017. So despite the miscut last week, I think Adam Scott's fully in play. However, I just like Cantlay a little more this week, I think. So Cantlay is returning from, I think it was a deviated septum surgery, I believe. Yeah, right here. First start since the Genesis Invitational. He's got top 20s in 3 of his last 4, although he hasn't played in a month now. But with a guy of his caliber, that doesn't really bother me. You see 17th, 11th, 34th, 4th. Probably should honestly never be under 10K if we're being serious. But I think just the layoff kind of did that for him. So not great history here, although he has a tremendous course fit in terms of stats. Missed the cut last year, 23rd the year before, 22nd year before that. I like Cantlay a bit in GPP. It's more of a lower ownership type of pivot for me. I think he's going to be one of the lower owned guys in this range, and that makes the whole situation tantalizing for me, just considering when you get down here at 9K, 91, 92, you got 3 guys all who should be pretty popular, and Webb, DeChambeau, Fleetwood. All these guys are in play. It's just incredible. Bryson, I'm going to touch on Bryson for sure here. Let's talk about form a little bit. 4th at last week, which is kind of what I want to see this week. 2nd, 5th, he's been on fire. His best finish here, I think, was the 20th, but he's only played it twice, and he's another guy like Cantlay who just shapes up well. But Bryson figures to be super chalky because of his recent run. So let's plug him in here, get our first guy. We'll get this GPP lineup going. Full disclosure, my lineups are done. I got 3 lineups in this, and I'm not going to stray away too much, but I do know that a guy I'm not playing, who I probably would have been Webb. So let's plug Webb in here as well. I'm playing Webb on FanDuel. In about 12 hours, I'll be in Vegas, so I will be betting on Webb. Granted, I get 30-1 or better on him, which I think I should at this rate. But, he really felt he was terrible following up his win. He won the Waste Management after a 3rd place at the Sony. And then he stunk it up. It was a 60. There's only 60-some people in that field in Mexico, and he finished 61st plus 5. So I think that poor performance in his last outing could keep some people off of him, surprisingly. And he did win here 2 years ago. He won the Players 2 years ago, and he's a couple of 16th place finishes. That's win is sandwiched between 16th place and 2019 and 2017. So fully get behind Webb. Let's start there. I made this lineup earlier. Let's see if I can remember it. Because man, it was balanced and it was fun. So we're gonna try and get there again. DeChambeau, Webb, and then moving down. Well, I don't think I covered Scott. I got Fleetwood. I know we missed the cut. I love guys in bounce back spots. Great history here. Back-to-back top 10s. 5th last year and 7th the year before. We know the miscut was an anomaly. It was his first one in 30-something tournaments. So fully in support of getting right back on Fleetwood in cash games at 9K. But again, the win equity, even at 9K, he doesn't need to win. So I wouldn't worry about that. I think he's still a great cash game play. Sorry. I'd go elsewhere here for GPP. Cantlay, Scott, somewhere in there, or Webb, and Bryson, of course, since they're in here. So let's move down. Fowler's a fade for me. Although 8,900, I will say, is damn close. Definitely made me think about him a lot. But let's talk about Hideki being way too cheap. 8,800 for Hideki seems rather low. He's got great history here. One miscut in 6 chances over the last 5 years, and hasn't finished below 22nd place other than the one miscut. 8th last year, and again, I know he struggled last week. He was 56th last week, and we should put some weight into that. But prior to that, sixth place, fifth place, 16th, and there was a 12th a little over 2 months ago. So it's hard to argue the overall recent form for Matsuyama. And he's done well here in the past. So I think, did my screen go bad? Am I just noticing this now? Sorry about this, everybody. You're stuck with me. Let me try and. This happened to me once, but. Yeah, that's not good. I'm going to try and keep talking while I sort this mess out. But another thing, too, about Matsuyama is I think he's going to get slightly ignored, even though I think he's way too cheap, just because you look down at, Sung J M there, and boy, this is frustrating. Go down to M at 8,600, and he missed the cut here last year, but I wouldn't worry about that. Considering he won 2 weeks ago and was third last week. Sung J M's going to be way popular, and my guess is Matsuyama will not be. So, for ownership for GPP, I would think you might want to switch, where you're going to play M. Obviously, you could play Matsuyama if you think M is going to tail off at all. I personally don't. I think he's going to be just as good once again. So I would continue with that. Then we're back up here. We got our screen back. So let's plug in Webb and Bryson and move along to the rest of the mid 8K range. All right, Rose is a fade. No Reed for me, no Day. I like Woodland a little bit. 5 top 10s this year. Not great history here. Missed a couple cuts. 2 of the last 4, no better than 30th. But coming off, he did have that 8th place at the Honda a couple weeks ago. So that does make Woodland kind of promising, in my opinion. But moving along, I do like Woodland. I don't really like anybody else in this range. I think Paul Casey will get some love. Finau's going to get some love dirt cheap. Garcia has good history here, and he's playing decent, but just don't want a Sergio. Louis, you got Louis as a pass for me. So let's move on. I think I can plug him in this lineup too. Now let's do it. Loaded 7K range. Stenson's a good bounce back candidate. Way too cheap for a guy his caliber, but just not in good enough form for me to even think about. Gotta love Morikawa. Still hasn't missed a cut. Crept up to top 10th last week with the 9th place finish. This will be his debut. But these ball strikers, look at him and Morikawa, just the future of golf. There's very little doubt about that. I'll play these guys every week if I can, definitely. And then, you look at Morikawa 7,900, Kuchar 7,800. You can't, both of these guys are they're almost automatic. I don't like to play Kuchar. Actually, I do. I was going to skip him this week, but kind of hard to ignore at that price, to be honest. So actually, we're not going to make this M. I think this is going to be Woodland. Yeah, let's do that. So then you got, moving along, Lowry, on Hovland, Spieth, Neiman. I'm passing on all those guys this week. Not much to say there. Leishman, however, he was mid-8s. I think he was about 8,500 last week, and then the pricing came out early. So, he's way down here at 7,600, which makes no sense. And, he was second place last week. Came up one shot short of, tying Hatton there. But he's a winner. He's won. He just won at the Farmers Insurance Open a few weeks ago. Yeah, I got no problems backing Leishman at 7,600. He's one of the better putters in the game. He put the lights out last week. My only qualm is he hasn't been great here at the Players since he's back. He's pretty much been awful since an 8th place back in 2013. Missed cuts and bunch of couple finishes in the 60s over the last couple of years. So not great history, but again, I can't get past this lineup's done. I can't get past. There's a good lineup right there. I mean, balanced, safe. Kuchar, Morikawa. Could even go instead of Woodland and Nim. Let's try this. I'll leave him in here and see what I got left. We still got 77 with him. Yeah, so many options here. The only thing I will say moving along here, after Leishman, there isn't really much else I like in this low 7 personally, but there is going to be some chalk. That's not exactly true. Where are we at? A lot of these guys. I wouldn't play Hatton. He admitted himself he's going to be drinking till Wednesday, so guy loves to celebrate his W's. I would lay off Hatton. Definite win hangover incoming. Skip Phil. Fitz is very intriguing at 7,300. In play GPP wise. Poulter, another GPP play. But man, there's this just conundrum at 7,200 here. There's a bunch of guys at 7,200, all who grade out well and all should garner some ownership. I think Daniel Berger is going to be the cash game chalk, and the popular play here at 7,200. He's been lights out. He's been playing really well lately. And he does have a 9th place finish here back in 2016. So there is that. But 3 top 10s in a row for Danny Berger. Coming off a 4th. He played well at the Honda. So 4th at the Honda 2 weeks ago. And, boy, he should get plenty of love. I'd actually plug him in this one. Leave 500 on the table. Actually, we can get up to Morikawa maybe from Leishman. Yeah, I mean, I love both them guys. Love Morikawa, love Leishman. There's so many ways to go this week. It's just going to be a matter of picking the right spots, obviously, kind of like it is every week. But getting back into this Berger situation, you've got 3 guys who, I mean, if you don't want to play the chalk, you got 3 guys who are all decent options here. Sneds is too cheap at 7,200. I know he's super inconsistent, but good putter, good GPP play in my opinion. And then Van Rooyen and Answer. I know Answer is another guy who kind of did us dirty. I've been preaching to play him the last couple of weeks, and again he grades out well. He's having a good year, so I think he's fully in play. I just kind of got the bad taste now, so I'm off Answer. And then EVR was another guy, Van Rooyen, who kind of graded out well here. But I think it's time to jump off the Harris English train if you haven't already. And then let's move down and wrap this up here. I don't think there's anybody here I would consider. Ortiz snuck in the cut and then fell apart. Hadwin's getting some love. He kind of ranks out well, but he's not having the type of season I would like to see in order for me to play him on DK. I'm moving in down into the sub 7K range where we're getting into our serious value, our late value. We're already at 24 minutes. Wow, yuck. We got the Gooch. Every week I say, play the Gooch. And, he makes the cut and gets to the weekend. Even guy shot a +8 in the second round last week. He was 8 over with an 80, and he still made the cut because he was 67 on day one when everybody else sucks. So Gooch is going to have his good rounds. He's going to have his bad rounds. But the guy's made like 10 cuts in a row. So it's hard to argue that at 6,900, a consistent cut maker. If you're looking for value. But the one pivot away from that, I kind of like Graham McDowell this week. Pure gut play. Recent winner. It was on a Euro Tour. But he won not too long ago, Saudi International, at the end of January. But he hasn't been, he's 32nd last week, so struggled through the weekend like most did. So Graham McDowell is another interesting play for me in the sixes. But again, I prefer, you're going to have some chalk down here too. There was one name at 68 who didn't look bad. Let's see if I can find him. Nope, I'm going to change my mind on that. I'm going to go all the way down to 66 where the chalk's going to be. And we got two guys down here. Well, Mitchell bounced back and played well last week. So technically we have three guys down here who are way too underpriced. We know both Homa and Damon have been playing lights out lately. Damon kept it going last week, though, with the fifth place, tied for fifth last week. So that's back-to-back fifths. Damon was also 12th here last year. So when I talk about horrible pricing like I did with Leishman, I feel exactly the same with Damon this week. And you're going to see Damon, the ownership is through the roof. But again, with Homa and Mitchell right here, hopefully that kind of balances some of it out. But I fully expect Damon to be super popular this week after, with the way he's been playing. And then P-Raj made another cut, was decent last week, but I'm going to skip him. Tom Hodge continues to play well. You got this cluster at 6,400 of all these guys who I like and normally play. We've talked about Harmon here. We've talked about Kang. We've talked about JT Poston, and I talk about Wyndham Clark a lot. Clark really struggled last week, so he's off for me, off the table for me. And personally, I'm not playing any of these guys. If I had to play one, I would continue on with Sung Kang. The guy just, the stats aren't there, but he just continues to get it done. He constantly is around on the weekend. He's been doing that for a few weeks. So I think he's in play. And then it wouldn't be fun. I'm leaving for Vegas in a few hours. So we got to talk about Johnny Vegas, baby. Vegas, the guy, it's weird because we played him on Brian Tulloch Sports, my man. He'll vouch for this. We love Johnny Vegas. When he was riding the PGA train with me for a while last year when we were running good, we have a lot of Johnny Vegas weeks. I know he got the job done for us for the most part, but he's so hit or miss. You just got to play him like on the courses where where he does good and where he hits the field, because you're probably never going to find him like in great form. He's not a guy like that, but I'm seeing him getting love, from some of the touts this week, as far as, betting him for first round leader, because he's a good first round guy. Man, he crept all the way up to, he's missed one cut in his last 6 events. He was 27th at the Honda on the swing here, his only finish on the Florida swing, but he did. It was, what was it? I better look here. I'm going off memory. 27th at the Honda. It was a Puerto Rico. He tied for 9th. So I knew he had a decent, good top 10 finish here recently. And then it was he crept up to 3rd place last year. Yeah. So in this event, he's got 2 top 10s over the last 8 years. Last year was his best finish, and a 7th way back in 2012 or so. But for 63, if you need a guy way down here, don't want to play Joel Damon, don't want to play Max Homa, but you do want to play, say, Rory or Rahm, and you need to get down here, Johnny Vegas, it's Vegas week, baby. Definitely Vegas week. But he's not going to fit into what I do. But definitely think he's in play this week. If you need the value, if you feel like Rory's going to get it done. I personally don't. I love the balanced approach this week. That is pretty much the final thought for the day. Munoz kind of fell apart last week and let us down, so it's time to jump off the Munoz train for a while. But yeah, that's it. Mark Hubbard, 6K, Zach Johnson. Yeah, I don't think you want to mess with any of that stuff down there. Oh, I lost the screen again. That's great. All right. Well, sorry about that if you couldn't see that. The lineup, anyway, was just Webb Simpson, Bryson, Sungjae, Daniel Berger, Kuchar, and Morikawa. It looks real safe, real balanced. Probably right there is the cash chalk, if I had to guess. And my cash game lineup isn't exactly like that, but it's pretty close. If you want to get some more info out of me, you sign up for Draft Manager, draftmanager.com/PGA. Get my core 4, which is going to publish right after I hit publish on this stream here. That had nothing but problems with my awesome DraftKings screen, but take a look out for that. Get signed up, get in Slack. Again, that DraftKings article is going to have my core 4. And I kind of went a little more in depth this week with how I want to work around it and stuff like that. So $10 for all 6 sports for a weekly package. You can do a PGA weekly package for $4. Read the article, hop into Slack, pick my brain for Showdown if I decide to answer when I'm in Vegas. I probably will. I might play. Well, actually, I don't think I can play DFS in Vegas, but I know George is going to be around in Slack too. He did let me know that. So again, sorry for the technical difficulties with this screen. Let's see. Is it still doing it? Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I don't know if you guys see the blur that I see or if you see my normal screen, but I see this screen is all blurry. And if that's the case, that's really going to suck. And I fully apologize. But either way, thanks for checking this out. We're over 30 minutes, so way longer than I wanted to go. Yeah, hit me up on the Twitter machine at JuanBond DFS if you have any questions, or at draft_manager. Follow us and ask any questions. Fire away. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. It doesn't look like I did. So you all have fun. Good luck on your DFS.